Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so I hope you guys are all doing amazing. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you have subscribed, thank you so much to my old and new subscribers. And yeah, it's really good to have you guys here. I'm glad you're enjoying my content. But anyways, yeah guys, so today I wanted to discuss something really interesting that I kind of thought about, and I noticed that there's a very huge similarity, and this similarity can often mislead. It can mislead and misguide others, okay, and it can in turn make you follow the wrong person, okay. So in this video we're going to be discussing psychopaths, narcissists, okay, and all these other personality disorders, although in this video I will focus more on the psychopaths and the narcissists, okay, and a person who is also spirit-led, okay. So we're gonna discuss the differences between all of those, okay, because guys, believe it or not, a person who has a personality disorder or demons in spirituality, right, a person who is oppressed, who is possessed, okay, when it comes to spirituality, right, not just psychology, they can often believe it or not, come off as someone who be, they can often be mistaken, okay? They can often be confused and be seen as someone that they're not, basically, okay? They can often come off as someone who is spirit-led, someone who is led by the Holy Spirit, right? Because guys, once again, in this video, I will go over the similarities between them, because believe it or not, they do have similarities, and which can mislead other and misguide other people into following the wrong person, basically, right, and into even admiring them, okay. And here's this one thing that can cause confusion. This one thing is fear, okay, or not fear, but the lack of, okay, lack of fear or fearlessness, okay. And the all three, psychopaths, narcissists, and spirit-led people, can come off as fearless, okay, but that's on the surface level, right, because not all three possess fearlessness, okay. Like, for example, the fearlessness, or the expression of that is actually very different beneath the surface, okay. And so that's what we're going to go over in this video, okay, and why it's different. And guys, because the lack of fearlessness, or the lack of fearlessness, right, is actually very it can, on the surface level, it can inspire other people. It can cause other people to it can inspire them to make changes themselves, right. The lack of fearlessness, guys, when we the lack of fear, when we don't have fear, we can do a lot of things, right. We can step into action. We can speak to people, right. We can stand up for others. We can follow our dreams. We can if it's a spirit-led person, you can go against the grain. You can pretty much go against everyone, even if you're on your own, even if you're alone, and it's not going to scare you, right. So people are gonna be inspired by that, and they're also going to be, some people, right, not all, and so they're going to want to follow you, right. And so fearlessness, we are really drawn to it as people, as humans. We're drawn to fearless individuals. But guys, unfortunately, not all fearless individuals are good people. They're not all led by the same spirit. Some of them are very demonic in nature. And actually, one of the videos that I watched, I won't mention this channel, but that's exactly what this guy is. For example, on the surface, he seems fearless, like he's unafraid of doing things, of trying things, of speaking to people, of doing crazy things, basically, like diving into the water from a boat, right? I did this once. It was amazing. But it's not, and I will tell you the difference between this kind of individual, right? Like the individual that I saw in one of the videos or in one of the YouTube channels that I watched. There's a big difference between him and someone who is led by the Holy Spirit, okay? And guys, usually the difference is psychological, it's spiritual, and it's neurological in most cases, okay? And guys, let's break down the three, okay? But I will focus on the two first. I will discuss the psychopath and the narcissist and what they're actually driven by and why they lack this fear response, okay? For the psychopath, okay, guys, it's neurobiological, okay, and it has to do with emotional detachment, okay, guys. They have an amygdala dysfunction, guys, okay. So their ability to feel fear is it's not suppressed, but rather it's just it is dampened, basically, okay? So and that's why, hence the fearlessness, okay? That's where the fearlessness comes from, okay? It's just simply they cannot feel fear like, or experience even arousal like other people in situations that require that stress response and that fear, to come out, right? They simply cannot feel that, okay? So even in high stress situations, you will notice that maybe a lot of them will be faking it. Like a narcissist will probably be faking feeling fear or well, probably not though, okay? Because even in those situations, it depends, okay? But if they need to fake it, they will fake it. A psychopath simply will probably not care. So once again, there's a difference between narcissists and psychopaths, right? And how they show emotions. In most cases, psychopaths don't even care about pretending, okay? So they're to them it's a game, and they will probably be extremely amused, okay, by showing you a completely different reaction, right? So they're not even going to fake certain reactions or responses to be socially accepted, unlike the narcissist, okay? And they, so there's that, right? But once again, the psychopath is unable to. They have an amygdala or a fear dysfunction. They cannot. They will simply not feel fear because of the damage in their brain, basically. Okay, and so. The fear response is underdeveloped, okay, in psychopaths, okay? So they have a low physiological arousal too, okay? And guys, when it comes to narcissists, right, it's psychological, okay? And so they have a defense and grandiosity, guys, okay? So grandiosity and entitlement, okay? And so their response is psychological. It's not neurological like in psychopaths or with psychopaths. With narcissists, right, the response is psychological, okay? And so they do this, they avoid showing fear, guys. So they still experience fear to an extent, okay? Although from what I felt in the past, guys, and maybe these guys were psychopaths, I don't know, right? But with psychopaths, guys, I usually do not feel fear. Like next to them, I feel extremely calm, as crazy as it seems. And I do not fear their like anxiety or fear or any of those like normal emotions, right? Like in normal like individuals, right, who experience those things, you can feel it. As an empath, I can definitely sense that. And so with a psychopath, you will feel like there's a rock next to you because they simply do not really feel that fear, right? Or nervousness or anxiety. Whereas with a narcissist, perhaps you also do not, you will not feel it as much. Maybe you will feel it a little, but at the same time maybe you won't feel it at all, because once again they do suppress all of those emotions. Okay, so with them it's not about the lack of really feeling those feelings, as in their amygdala has a dysfunction, right? Or their brain doesn't, it's simply damaged, right? Or they were born with a certain defect, right? In narcissists, it's more psychological, once again, right? So they do this, they suppress their fear due to shame avoidance, right? So they don't want to feel that shame, or that vulnerability that comes with showing to them, fear, right? Being fearful is shameful, right? It brings back the shame, right? And they don't want to feel that, so they will suppress that. Okay, then the need for admiration, guys. They know fearless people, right? People that don't show fear, people that are brave are favored and they're looked up to. And so and narcissists need to be admired, right? And so they're going to do everything in their power to suppress that fear, and they're going to pretend like they don't feel fear, like they're brave. When in reality, guys, if it's a narcissist, they're anything but brave. They're actually underneath it all, they're like scared little children who have these defenses, right, in place, who are just simply pretending, guys. They're pretending and when the situation calls for it, in most cases, a narcissist will not be able to handle it. They'll run away for the most part, okay? Or they'll just shut down, they won't do anything. There were situations in my past when my exes never stepped in, and I was in dangerous situations where I had to do something and they never did anything. They just simply shut down, so if it's a narcissist, they will most likely shut down, or they'll step away, they'll run away, they'll walk away, they won't do anything, or they'll just stay really, really quiet. So there's this bravado, right? They're going to put on a show. Everything is a show when it comes to narcissists. It's never honesty, So and this comes with fearlessness too. They'll pretend like they're brave and fearless, but they're not. And so once again, with them it's all about the ego protection, right, and self-defense, okay? Or so once again, guys, with psychopaths, it's neurological, okay, guys, and it's the dimmed fear response, right? And with narcissists, it's psychological, right? And so it's the suppressed response, the suppressed fear response, right? They still experience fear, but they suppress it, right? And so, guys, when it comes to like the Holy led Spirit, right? Person who is led by the Holy Spirit, guys, they will also be similar to these individuals in a sense that they will look like they don't experience fear. They're going to fearlessly go after their goals, right, and purpose. They're going to follow their purpose relentlessly, right, without fear, because they're led by God, guys. They're led by the Holy Spirit, right? And so they have a really close relationship with Source, right? And so they're not afraid, because they listen to their intuition, and they've learned that by following their voice, by following their intuition, by following God, basically, right? They have never been misled, right? And it has always led them to the right place, to the right people, to the right situations, right? And so their fearlessness doesn't come from ego. It doesn't come from any defense mechanisms in place. Their fearlessness comes from, once again, that trust and that developed relationship with God, with Source, with the Holy Spirit, right? That's in them. And so they listen to it no matter what, even if it goes against the grain, right? And so it's not about ego, it's not about the self, it's not about looking a certain way like it is for a narcissist. It's not about control, right? It's not about dominance and control like it would be for a psychopath, right? It's all about it's not about self-preservation, right? It's all about selflessness. It's all about doing things because it's the right thing to do, right? Even if it goes against a certain group or a certain community, right? And so they're not afraid to stand up for what is right, okay? So if they sense, if they know that it's going against their morals, values, and against what the God's word basically, they will face whatever consequences come their way if it's the right thing to do, right? And so that's and if it's for the good of, if it's ultimately for the good of all, right? And so there's a big difference, guys, and like I said, you know, a lot of people mistaken these similarities on the surface, right? This fearlessness in these three individuals. One is led by the Holy Spirit, another by demonic forces, basically, right? In terms of spirituality, right? And so, yeah, don't mistaken that, guys. Don't make the mistake of following another person because they're fearless. Watch how their expression comes into how they're expressing themselves and their fruits, basically, right? That should tell you you know where their expression is coming from. Watch them by the fruits, like, right, by the fruits. And also, once again, I don't know. I mean, there are many examples in history, right, that you can also observe, right, such as during the Holocaust, right, like when certain individuals were, for example, guided to do Bible studies, right, in private, right, and were guided to help others or rescue them, right, while sacrificing their own safety, right, and their own lives. That's a spirit-led individual, right? That's one example. It's an individual that was scared, but they did it anyways because they were led by that Holy Spirit, right? And so usually, once again, it doesn't come from the ego. The spirit-led person will do things while they will do things in to benefit the good, right? To benefit everyone, and not just because they want to gain something out of it. While the psychopath, the narcissist, it's all about self-preservation, right? And it's all about looking good. It's all about power, gaining power, such as with Ted Bundy, right? And so, yeah, be careful, right? And I think it will be obvious if you observe. It will be obvious in terms of what kind of person you're dealing with, right? One other thing that I will add is a person that's led by the Holy Spirit, when corrected, right? They're capable of making corrections. So if they're criticized, right, and they're wrong, they're willing to admit that they're wrong and correct themselves if they were wrong, you know, while other people like a narcissist, for example, they'll get defensive, right? And while a psychopath will probably get aggressive or even dangerous, okay? When the situation calls for it, when the situation if they do something potentially or possibly wrong, you know. So with spirit-led people, it's all about humility, you know, compassion, empathy, okay, while the other two cannot really display that or even show it in their actions, you know. So this will be obvious, this will be very obvious, but on the surface, once again, if you're just meeting this individual, you can get fooled and start following the wrong person, okay? So don't make that mistake, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please check out any of my courses and my children's book, guys. It's amazing if you have any children. And yes, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.